Hi, everyone. This is Sonia Holtz, your CFWC Communications Chairman. Welcome to today's workshop. Today's workshop is the CFWC Back to Basics July workshop, and the topic is, let me read it so I get it right, it's called Amenities, Protocol, and the President's Aide. So thank you so much for being here. We're so happy that you're attending, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Have a nice day. All right, Barbara, go ahead.
Thank you, Sonia. Good afternoon, ladies. Pam is at PT for her shoulder. So I've got a message. I'm going to run the open house for her on Friday night. And also I'm going to jump in and do this one for you guys too. And so I think we'll have a very good time and we will miss her. Think good thoughts for Pam, please. So I think that the first thing that happens is that Sonia's going to do her housekeeping for us. So Sonia, it's back to you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. Sonia Holtz, CFWC Communications Chairman. We just want to do some housekeeping so that we know what is going on. First of all, due to the format today, we're asking that you don't share. You're welcome to ask questions, but please don't share. Also today, Debbie, my teammate on the Communications Committee, is going to help me in the background, muting those that actually might just forget that. So thank you for understanding. So mute, we ask everyone to mute. And the reasons why we ask everyone to mute is because the speakers play on each other and it gets very loud very quickly. The other reason we ask you to mute is that when a speaker is speaking, if someone breaks in with like a comment or they don't raise their hand and just talk over the speaker, in these particular rooms, that is considered rude behavior. Stop video, start video. So let's say your dog needs a hug or you spill coffee on your shirt and you need a minute. Take the minute. Go down to the bottom left-hand side of your screen. There's a stop video. You can stop and start at any time. That does not take you out of the meeting. It just allows you that minute where we're not visually seeing what's going on, okay? So here's the meetings are recorded. We're doing this so that we can put them on YouTube. But I need you guys to keep in mind that we went from using them on a public, a non-public venue like Dropbox, and now we're putting it on a public venue like YouTube. So when we ask you to not share, there's a very specific reason for that. If you put your name out there, your club out there, your personal information, your phone number, that is personal information that we don't necessarily want you sharing on YouTube unless that's something that you want to do, and that's when you can have your own channel. But with the Women's Club of the California Federation, we try to keep you safe. So that's why we ask you not to share personal information while we're recording. Okay, raise your hand. Go to the bottom of the screen, click on reactions. And then let's all make sure that we can participate. If you cannot participate, Debbie, do you see Lynn? Lynn, are you here? Can you unmute, please?
She is here.
Okay, fantastic. I didn't ask her. Okay, so Lynn manages chat, and what she basically does is when you have a question, if you cannot raise your hand, then please put the question in chat. But if you can raise your hand, please do not, because then that takes away from the people that cannot. So let's say you have an iPad and you want to raise your hand. You want to tap on the screen, go to the participants icon, which looks like a group of 3 little people. On the bottom of the box, you'll see a blue hand. Tap on the hand and it will appear with your name like everybody else. Okay, so rename, and I did not do that today, so I apologize. Renaming is all about making sure that like Barbara or Pam know who's in the room for credentialing and to make sure that they recognize you. So if you visit a club and you're online with them, so that they know what position you hold in that particular meeting. That's very helpful, so thank you for doing that. A view, take your mouse, go all to the teeny tiny little word whip at the top right of your screen, and you have several options. You can do a gallery view where you see everyone, or you can do a speaker view, and that's just the person that's speaking. And then Debbie and I do something called spotlight view, which means that the speaker is spotlighted so that we have them in the big screen while they're talking. All right, so let's say that none of this makes sense. It's your first time in this room and you're really frustrated because you couldn't download from chat. On Sundays, except for holidays, I have a help desk from 11 to 2. The Zoom codes do not change. They're published on the CFWC Facebook page on Saturday afternoon in the comments, or you can send an email to the communications Gmail and I will happily send you the codes. So any questions, suggestions, it's really wonderful to memorize that email. It's CFWC communications, plural, @gmail.com, and we will forward those questions on to the right person, or we will answer them ourselves. And you can also ask for codes, and we'd be happy to send the codes to you there. All right, any questions about anything that I went over? Okay, so it looks like we have questions. Do you mind if I field those really quick, Barbara?
Sure, go for it.
Okay, so Kathy, your question, please.
I was just practicing raising my hand. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're more than welcome to. Kathy Cook, she lowered hers. Jerry Meyer, your question, please. You're muted, love.
I was just practicing raising my hand. I'm sorry.
Fantastic.
Sorry, I didn't have my hand up. I didn't think I had my hand up.
It's okay, we'll take it down. Don't worry about it. I like that you guys know how to do it and that you can participate. Everyone deserves a voice. Okay, so I'm going to hand this back to Barbara, and Barbara, we're going to take the spotlight off of me. And then back.
Thanks, Sonia. We want to thank Lynn too for doing the chat for us. That's really an important part of it when we come to questions. We have 10 pages that we're going to go through today. And I was speaking with Lynn Hutton yesterday, and we talked for a long time about, I think after 10 pages in 2 hours, you're going to be a little tired of listening to this person's voice the whole time. So what will happen is I'm going to call on people that are here that have good speaking voices, which is all of you, and it's good practice for us to, to do this with other people. I was going to ask people that like Sonia and Debbie and Lynn, but they're running this meeting and running things. So I'll just call on you. If you feel like it, you can unmute and take a page. And if you don't, just say, no, thanks. And then we'll move on to someone else. Okay. So if it's all right, I am one of those people in taking Pam's test. I was a powerful and then tied for the perfectionist popular part. But I took the 10 pages, divided them out into minutes, gave a little part for the introduction, Sonia's part, a little part for the end, a little part for the questions. So we're going to do this about 10 minutes a page is what's going to happen with us. And we'll have questions at the end of every page. And you can ask them of anybody that is here because all of you guys have done this. Amenities and protocol, and then the president's aide. They all play a very big part. Amenities and protocol. I wrote down the word amenities means nice. Protocol is proper. And the aide is the right hand to the president. But I'm going to take page 1. Amenities and protocol. So the amenities are the courteous little acts to the atmosphere of harmony and gracious hospitality so that we all get along. If you have something you want to talk to somebody one-on-one, Barbie really wants to talk to me about something, she generally will do it not in front of 250 other people at the state convention. She'll come to me quietly and say, we need to discuss this. But it's not, she doesn't really put me on the spot right in front of everyone. But if you need to, that's okay. We're supposed to be able to, land on our feet. Protocol. The code of formal procedure and politeness important to the smooth running of the organization. I like it because it says it is simply good manners in an atmosphere of friendliness and politeness. Once again, if it's something that you can quietly speak to somebody nose to nose, toes to toes, you want to do that. But if not, you can tell the president's aide in the meeting, she can bring it to the head table, not walking in front of the head table, but she can go to the end and bring that question if we need it there. The amenities chairman works closely with the president and carries out her wishes. It says she should arrive early to check the head table, the microphone, the flag, seating, and to make sure that there are water glasses on the head table if they're allowed. With COVID, we might not have that in September, but we'll make sure we can get little bottles of water individually that will be available for all of us at our meeting. She should sit where the president can see her and they will have some kind of a little secret signal. You're going to have that if you're a club president or a dean with your amenities person. I don't know if it's the Carol Burnett tug on the ear. I don't know exactly what it is. You might just go ahead and say, hey, I need you, come here. If you want to pass her a note, when you lift your pencil in the air with the opposite hand that you write with, she's going to know that, and she'll know that she needs to text you, yes, on the phone, or you're going to text her back. So the next thing is, she is the gracious welcomer to the guests, the speakers, and to anyone who might be coming for the first time. She also should be acquainted with the fire regulations and know whom to call with that 911 number. Maybe it is a fire marshal in California. Maybe it is one of the captains, but she'll have that number available in case we have an emergency. The head table seating. You seat people in their rank of order, but at the president's discretion. If the guests are of equal rank, the person who has traveled the farthest distance gets to rank the highest. You know, it took me a long time to learn that. I'd have to go say, oh, where did you come from? Ellen came from, Ellen Onsick is here from Bakersfield, but Dory flew in from Sacramento. That means we're going to put Dory first and Ellen second. Okay, the person from the furthest distance away. All right, the preceding officer might not have a seating chart, so make sure we have one. You know, all those little name placards that you see on the head table, that doesn't exactly mean that everybody at the head table knows how they're seating in that order, especially if it's a guest. So try to keep your head table at 12. You know, when we get together, lots of times that's hard to do because we have 4 area VPs. Maybe we can have 2 at a time at the head table. Maybe we can move some of our other officers, you know, not your parliamentarian, but some of your other officers might want to go down and sit with their friends. So there's different ways to keep your perfect 12 at the head table. Meals, oh my, meal function. It says choose a simple menu that will appeal to most of the group. If you have chocolate, Valerie will be there. Actually, it's written that we will have chocolate, so we know we'll have that. It said persons at the head table should always be served first. Sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. You know, for many, many years, the officers have said and followed this rule. Those who care don't matter, and those who matter don't care. When you are served your food, please feel free to eat it while it's hot. Now, the next one is important. It says that the member should wait until the president has picked up her fork before starting to eat. So that means right now that President Pam, when we go to San Diego for the fall boards, we're supposed to wait for her to pick up a fork. So even if she's going to run around somewhere, maybe that amenities person or the president's aide can make sure she picks up her fork. Even if she sets it back down and walks away, everybody then will eat. It's a nice little gesture of formality that we have not let go of yet. It says if the guest is more than 15 minutes late for the meeting, we should proceed with the meal. I agree with that. We would just ask the kitchen to maybe hold back their meal if we're paying for their meal, or if you have a special speaker coming to your club meeting or your district meeting, and they didn't get there, there was a train that held them back, or they just were running late, or they had to get gas because they were on empty. So you could just recognize that person, you know, when they come in and have a formal introduction. It says the president or the host should recognize the chairperson who planned and who does her committee. And that always happens. You'll hear Pam say, and to Jean Lash, you know, who's the meeting planner, or to Aide Sager, or to Priscilla Bolander, who are the co-convention chairman. She will always acknowledge them so that you'll know who to go to if you have a small, slight question or a problem. If Von Cahill says, oh, I have to talk to Edie right now, she'll know who that is because Pam's already basically pointed her out to all of us at her meeting. End of page 1. Are there any questions regarding page 1? If not, if you've written them down, you might decide, oh, I just want to hold them all till the end. And that's okay too. All right, please go to page 2, and Ellen Onsick is going to take 2, and she will take it from top to bottom. You are up, my friend.
Before, there is a hand that's raised.
Okay,
Donna Mae Ellis.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that at our district, sometimes the district officers have a subhead table along with a head table, and that's more numbers than 12.
could I ask you how many it is, Donna Mae?
Oh,
have a-
I don't remember exactly, but Pam was our district president at one time, so we could ask her.
Okay, I will ask her. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else?
No.
Okay, then we will move on to page 2, and Ellen, it is all yours.
Thank you. Page 2, flowers and gifts. Corsages are much less common than they used to be. If the guest is not given a corsage, no one, including the president, should wear one. Avoid expensive gifts. They tend to become a custom the organization may not be able to continue. If a gift is given, it should be simple and useful. Inquire about a person's interests or collections. A donation to the itinerary fund makes an appropriate gift for Federation speakers. The installing officer is usually given a gift from the group, but may also be given one from the person to be installed as president. The club or district should budget for installation expenses and reimburse the installing officer up to the amount budgeted. Introductions. The presiding officer presents those seated at the head table. It is customary to begin at the extreme left of the presiding officer and present each person in order, ending with the one at the left of the presiding officer. Then beginning at the extreme right, each person is presented, ending with the guest of honor seated at the immediate right of the president. When a state or international president is introduced for the first time, the audience stands for the applause in recognition of the office. Past presidents should be extended every courtesy. They are usually introduced at some designated time in the program. It is customary to start with the one who served most recently and the others in order near to far. An introduction of a speaker should be brief. Its purpose is to establish his or her background, qualifications, and the subject of the speech. A person known to the audience is presented. A stranger is introduced. To be sure to mention the speaker's name at the end of the introduction. I don't think you want me to start invitations since that's kind of on the next page. Is that correct, Barbara?
Sure, that's okay. You can stop right there. Thank you so much. Are there questions for Ellen? I would say probably where we get into the most trouble is introducing someone, right? Or presenting someone. So if you know Barbie Heine, then you are going to present her. But if Ellen DeGeneres comes and is our speaker, we're going to introduce her. Okay, because she isn't someone that's a member. Well, actually, she could be known. We better choose somebody we don't know. We'll just say someone else comes. Someone from the Senate were to come. You would introduce them. Thank you so much, Ellen. Any questions? Okay, so starting with invitations at the bottom of 2 and going through page 3. As soon as Deborah Bushnell puts down her coffee cup, Deborah, will you unmute, my dear, and take the bottom, starting with invitations and reading the next page for us?
I knew as soon as I took a drink.
I thought that was a good thing too. No, just thank you.
Invitations. Acknowledgeable and willing CFWC officers and chairpersons are available upon request to bring Federation programs to districts and clubs. Income from the state itinerary fund is used to provide these visits. Call, email, or write your guest or speaker when you have selected your program. If phoning, follow up with a written confirmation. Requests for CFWC speakers, except for the president, go to the CFWC itinerary chairman from either the district president or district itinerary chairperson. Let your speaker know the allotted time and the time they are scheduled to speak. Give them some idea of what you would like discussed. If the trip requires an overnight stay, suggest types of accommodations available, including home hospitality. Make reservations if they request you to do so. If the speaker is driving, provide her with directions, though today with the internet and GPS, she may look them up herself. If she is traveling a long distance, suggest she bring a traveling companion. If a meal function is involved, please comp the guest and her companion. If the guest is flying, she should be informed of the nearest airport and should be met and escorted to where she will be staying. State board meetings. State board meetings are hosted by the district in which the meeting is held, assisted by its clubs. Plans and arrangements are coordinated with the state president, amenities chairman, and meeting planner. Sometimes decorations are done by the district. They should be simple and inexpensive. The district hosts a reception once during a state board meeting. Publicity. It is always appreciated when local clippings are forwarded to the president and the CFWC communications / public relations chairman. Area meetings. The duties of a district or club when hosting an area meeting are to provide a meeting place, luncheon arrangements, and meal reservations. Each district is responsible for the reservations and registration of its own members. To help with program planning if requested, cost to be reimbursed. To supervise the physical setup of flag, microphone, lectern, etc. To send local clippings to the area vice president. The official host is the area vice president. Back to you, Barbara.
Thank you very much, Deb. Really, really appreciate it. Okay, so any questions on this? There are a couple things I would like to add before. One is if we could also put in the attire when you invite someone. I'd like to tell you a little story about when Dory was the president, and last year when I was in membership, we were asked to go to a club that was celebrating their 110th anniversary. So it was one of those rare days where California it rained. Dory flew into Ontario, somebody picked her up, took her where we were going. I met her there. And since Dory was traveling, the flight was late getting in. So she was in boots and sort of breeches, I would say, and a nice top. I had worn a black suit with I thought a beigey blouse, it would be perfect. We walked in and nobody had told us that it was formal. Every man there, the mayor, the librarian, they were in tuxedos. The women of the club had on formal gowns to the floor, and you already know what Dory and I were wearing. We were very out of place. We went to present the certificates, here you go. This is for the contemporary club, 110 years. But we were self-conscious the whole time that we were there. We both had to go to the lectern. We had to walk in front of people. We had to go to a buffet line, and it was just tough. I mean, it's made me want to carry a change of clothes in my car, but who carries a formal outfit in the back of their car, right? So think about that too. If you're inviting somebody to come, maybe on that itinerary sheet, you might want to scribble down, this is a kicky casual, this is semi-formal, this is, business attire, so that the person you're inviting knows how you want them to dress to be appropriately attired. The second one is, I think that many clubs and districts need to ask for the state chairman and ask for your officers to come. Itinerary pays for it. You don't have to pay. You don't have to pay for their flight or their driving. You'll probably pay for their meal. Maybe, if you don't host them at a club member or district member's home, you might pay for the embassy suites for a night. But it's really worth it to do that. Okay, I see lots of hands, so I'm going to stop and go right ahead. Sonia?
Yes, your first question is Catherine George 2. Catherine?
Hi. Yeah, I was just wondering, when it says local clippings, can you clarify what that is?
Which one is it? show us where?
Yeah, it's, let me see, page 3, area meetings. Oh, no. State board meetings, publicity. It's always appreciated when local clippings are forwarded to the president and the CFWC Communications Public Relations Chairman. And then there's something also below under area meetings, the last 2 lines, to send local clippings to the area vice president. The official host is the area vice president. So local clippings as in
Newspaper articles.
Regarding the event, or?
Yeah, if there was a newspaper article, right, for say the Los Cerritos district meeting, and then you would have a newspaper article and you'd want to forward that back to them for their president's book or their, just maybe their yearbook for that year. We don't do it a lot, but I know that, Valerie, I saved a lot of things. She came and was a speaker for us when I was president for Los Cerritos district. And I still have a newspaper clipping, from when Valerie came in and gave us all her words of wisdom. So,
Got it.
yes.
Love it. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Your next question is Lynn. Lynn, you had a question from chat?
Yes, it was under invitations in regards to the itinerary. Does the individual club, if they invite somebody to come from the state, do they have to go through their district to go to itinerary, or can they go directly to itinerary?
They can go directly to the itinerary, and it's just the president. So Pam makes her own.
Right.
Go through our itinerary officer for that. But otherwise, the club can just ask for that person, and the itinerary person will say, that they're asking Wendy to come and be a speaker. So Wendy okays it, the itinerary sends it back, and then they will, when she submits her bills, they will take care of that.
Okay, so the individual club can bypass the district when asking for scheduling somebody via itinerary.
Yeah. Valerie, would you like to unmute? I see you answering that one, so go right ahead.
No, it's definitely each club does their own.
Yes. Okay.
You don't have to, at no time do you have to go one to the other. And
Okay.
Please use it. Use these people.
Yes.
Thank you.
Valerie. Okay, our next question comes from Mary. Mary, you had a question?
Yes, from a club perspective and level, if you invite someone through the itinerary, but in the new world where people may be remote and want to just participate remotely, and you can save all that travel expense for your club and still have a great guest speaker from the state local level, would it still be customary then to make a donation to offset something, as a nicety, as an amenity or whatever? Would that go to the itinerary fund, or does it go to a different level, or do people just not do that?
I think I'm going to let Valerie respond to that too, but I think it's going to go still to the itinerary fund. But Valerie, go ahead.
I think it still is a nice thing to do to the itinerary fund. I mean, she may not have to travel, but you do spend some time preparing.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mary, for that question. Linda Kuntz, you have a question or comment?
Yes, hi, thank you. I just wanted, the comment that I just wanted to make is when Laverne Sandemus had a couple of our state officers, believe it was Pam at one time a couple of years back. What's nice is when you're inviting that person, ask them if they can just send you a snapshot of themselves. A lot of them have that. When you put your article in the paper, it's always nice to put, the state officer that she's speaking at your local club meeting, and along with her picture, if that's at all possible.
Ooh, very nice comment, Linda. Thank you. Good for all of us to know.
Okay, our next question or comment is Deb Bushnell.
Yes, I just wanted to follow up on when your clubs invite state officers or chairmen, if you're inviting them at the club level, it is a real courtesy to include the clubs in your district, to invite them to the event. let them know that a state officer or chairman is coming to the event. I've been to a couple of meetings here locally that I've gone to that other clubs in our district had no idea there was a state officer present. And to me, that just, if they're coming this far, especially to Northern California, it would have been nice for everyone to be able to participate. So that's just my added comment.
That's very nice.
Thank you, Deb.
added comment. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, is that it for page 3? All right, we're going to move on. Let's go to page 4. Wendy Karan, our area DVP. Would you like to read page 4 for us, please? Unmute yourself, sweet lady.
I'm doing it. There we are. Thank you. Thank you, Madam First Vice President. I think we're taking up at club meetings.
Yes, club duties.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Supervise the physical setup, including the flag, the microphone, lectern, water and glasses, and the seating. The official host, if this is a district meeting, the official host, or I like to say hostess, is the district president. It may be at your clubhouse, but the host is the district president. The duties of the district are to attend to place cards and guest meals. The district and or the corresponding secretary should send thank you notes promptly to the club and speakers. Club meetings. The same basic plans are followed for a club meeting as those of a district meeting. Plan the meeting carefully. Have someone at the door to greet members and guests, and assign a host for special guests. State conventions. The state president is the official host. The official representative is the area vice president in whose area the convention's being held. The duties of the hosts, districts, and clubs. A, decorations for the platform, luncheons, banquets. B, provide members as doorkeepers, pages, credentials, and any other necessary committee as required. Courtesies. To the state president. There is only one state president, and she should receive every courtesy and consideration of her office. Her itineraries are closely scheduled. Arrange transportation from stations or airport, hotel accommodations if requested, and such other courtesies the visit requires. Do not arrange for another speaker or other entertainment except for a short musical program when she visits. When the state president is the speaker, be sure to invite the district president and any state officers or chairpersons in your district as a courtesy. Her speaking time is a minimum of 30 minutes. Assign a host for the state president. She should not be left alone except at her request. In seating, the state president ranks above all other officers, chairpersons, or guests, except for the GFWC president.
Thank you, Wendy, very, very much. Do we have any questions?
I do not see any questions at this time.
Okay, thank you. Let's go on to page 5. And let me see. How about Miss Sherry Meyer? I love to listen to your voice too. So would you like to read this one for us? Page 5, and you have to unmute.
I would be happy to.
Thank you.
Are you hearing
I
me?
apologize. I think I accidentally muted her when I was trying to mute Wendy.
Yes. Yes, Sherry, we could hear you. Now we cannot. Wait, Sherry, wait, there, now.
Okay, problem is I didn't know I was going to read. I'd love to, but I don't have a page.
Oh, you didn't download the 5. Okay.
No,
So sorry. Yeah, there were 10 pages that were sent out ahead of time. So no worries at all. Thank you so much. Kat, George Chu, would you like to please take page 5 for us?
Sure.
Unmute. Thank you.
Okay. Itinerary and invitations to the state president. The state president handles her own itinerary. The funds for her travel come from state allowance. When inviting her for a special occasion, include necessary courtesy tickets. She does not attend at her own expense. She is your guest. When she is a district convention guest, she arranges her own transportation to your area. Her expenses for housing and meals are as a guest of your district. Reserve hotel or motel accommodations or home hospitality according to her preference. Invitations should be written by the president of either the club or district extending the invitation. The state president should be invited to each district at least once during her administration. Expected from guests and guest speakers. Respond promptly to all invitations, itinerary requests, and correspondence. Arrive 30 minutes prior to a meeting. Delays in traffic and schedules are unforeseen and should be anticipated. If detained, notify the host as soon as possible. Speakers should stay within the allotted time and should not be offended if asked to bring comments to a close. Federation guests should represent the organization proudly, leaving the best impression possible. Thank you letters should be written to the host club or district immediately. Do you want me to end it there?
Yes, go ahead. No, go ahead and do expected from members, please.
Okay, expected from members. Be on time for meetings, adhere to deadlines. If giving a report, watch the agenda and be near the microphone, not in the back of the room. At a meal, members should not start eating until the president has picked up her fork. Refrain from disturbing the meeting through whispering or restless behavior. Avoid walking between the presiding officer and the audience. Obtain the floor when addressing the assembly and address all remarks through the chair, not another member. Name badges should be worn on the right side. Club pins can be placed on either side, but are usually worn on the left. Do not overlook those in your district who serve at other levels of federation or are past presidents. Just because they are friends, we tend to take them for granted. They should be extended every courtesy.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions on this one? I have a couple of things. I love that we are supposed to invite the president at least once to every district. That's 18 districts in 2 years. It's a lot. So Pam has a very busy schedule. Invite her, but don't be, offended or upset if maybe she's already scheduled something else. So, we do the best we can to get where we're supposed to be when you need us. Another thing with the guest speaker, for probably since the 70s, when I've done a lot of introducing of speakers, and I always tell them, I stand up when I introduce you, and then I sit down. When I stand up again, that means finish your sentence or paragraph, you're probably done. Because sometimes they don't realize if you've given them 20 minutes or 25 minutes, that time is already gone. And now they keep talking and talking and your agenda is going further and further away. So it's just, you might think about it ahead of time so that they will just speak the allotted time that you've asked them to speak. I was at the Marina District at one of their district meetings and I was a speaker and someone got up from back table. We were at that Hollywood clubhouse and started walking right straight towards the president, towards the lectern when she was going to do my introduction. Very graciously, the district president said, "Excuse me, could you please walk around those tables on the other side and come up? I will be glad to take your question, but I don't want you to walk in front of everyone that's sitting right here." She was so kind about it. And I always thought to myself, I hope I can be that way, that if something is totally off, that you can just sweetly bring it with honey back into the normal. So we'll hope that happens. Sonia, did we have a hand up, or Lynn, do you have anything?
No, there are no questions on the floor at this time.
Okay, let's go on then to page 6. We'll start with receiving lines. Is Janice Petrosino here? Because yesterday when Gina Radacchio called me, she volunteered you to read.
Oh, okay.
If you could take 6, starting with receiving lines, and read to the bottom of that page, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Receiving lines after an installation. A receiving line is not required, but is requested. Order, arranged according to rank, club president at the club function, district president at a district function, state president at a state function, GFWC president at a GFWC function, honored guests, other distinguished guests. It is advised that officers from the club, district, CFWC, or GFWC be placed between visiting dignitaries to eliminate the necessity of a dignitary presenting a guest to another dignitary. A receiving line should never be so long that progress is impeded, and conversation in line should be brief. A member should be appointed to introduce guests to the first person in line. President's aide. The president's aide is hugely substantial job, and they are the literal right hand. Okay, where am I at? Wait, I got these clipped together. To the president. They may be asked to step in and help where they can with everything already mentioned at each level, with amenities and protocol. Also a hugely significant job as it enhances the experience of the meeting and or event for all in attendance. Do I go on?
Sure, do this next paragraph, please.
Okay. The president's aide should also be in touch with the meeting planner for the state board meetings and the convention chairpersons for conventions. There are things that these 3 positions should go over together, and the aide can make that happen easily when they walk the room prior to the meeting to make things as easy for the president as possible.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Janice. Okay, do we have any questions or anything regarding our receiving line? We're not so much with doing that anymore, so we don't do that so often. But as far as the president's aide, it should be someone that is like your best friend. They know everything about you already, and you do want them in the room that's close by or adjoining. You do want to give them a key to your room so that they can run grab whatever it is you forgot. I don't know, the certificates that you had already to give to someone and they're still in your room. They weren't in your briefcase. So you want it to be somebody who is quite fluid with knowing exactly the things that matter to you. So that's an important one. Yes, Sonia, I'll give it to you for questions.
We have one question, Patsy Wilson. Patsy?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairman. My question is the past president of the junior clubs included in any of these amenities and protocols, like the receiving line and stuff?
I don't believe so, but Valerie, would you unmute and would you like to address this? I don't think that the junior clubs are.
No, it's not, because we only have one organization in California, but we do have clubs that have the word junior within their name. That was done by their choosing in 2010.
Thank you very much.
Prior to that, we used to always do it separately, but it's no longer that way.
Okay, our next question is Tamara. Tamara, you had a question?
Yes, thank you. Is it typical for individual clubs to have amenities and protocol persons and a president's aide?
Well, I'm just trying to think of all the clubs. We have 242 clubs. What do you think, guys? Do you have an amenities and, do you have also a president's aide? I think they have amenities. Janice, go ahead.
Some clubs do. When I belonged to, they had, when Gina Ridocchio was president, she had a president's aide. She also had an amenities chairman. It's good for the clubs to have these positions so they can utilize them. And then when they do go to the district and they do go to the state, they know the procedures if they practice them in their own club.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tamara. That is all the questions on the floor for now.
Okay. How about then let's jump over to page 7. Karen, read. Oh, Susan's waving her hand at us.
I had my hand up. Thank you very much. I had a question regarding the statement where it said the president's aide should also be in touch with the meeting planner for state board meetings and the convention chairpersons for conventions. Why would that be for them to get together?
Okay, we're talking now the president's aide for CFWC. So this is Pam's. So she would also meet with Jean Lash, who's doing the meeting planning, and the 2 co-convention chairs, Edie Sager and Priscilla Bolander. They kind of coordinate together and they do walk the property. They have a schematic of like where we're going in San Diego so that you can sort of ask any of the 3 of them questions. They'll know, but that president's aide can get to Pam quickly and say, this is what we need to be doing.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize this was state. Yes. I thought this was club.
Yeah, so that one would be, I think, for probably the state board meeting, the one that we're going to go to in September in San Diego.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, the next question, there was another question. I think they decided that maybe that answered it. Thank you so much, Barbara.
Okay, how about page 7? Karen, read, are you here? Would you like to read?
I'm here. And I lost track on my pages. Where exactly do we stop?
Okay, number 7, it starts out and it says the president's aide should know.
President's aide should know?
Yeah, should know the president's schedule and where every room is located.
Okay, I'm not seeing on page 7.
It is. It's actually all of page
7.
Oh,
there it is. Okay. The president's aide should know the president's schedule and where every room is located where they are required to be. Also, in a day where cell phones and texting are easy, be sure to be ready for calls and texts from the president, as it may be the only means of communication on a busy day when a conflab is required. In addition to the above duties of the amenities and protocol officer, the president's aide is there at the pleasure of the president. Period. When serving as the president's aide, make sure you know the likes, dislikes, allergies, and favorites of the president. You may be asked to speak to other leadership groups or officers within Federation and inform these persons as to the items of importance if needed. As the president, it is important to pick an aide you trust implicitly and to stay in contact with them as much as possible. As the president's aide, you are often asked as well to take on the following duties. Keep the president aware of where and when she is needed for all activities. Oh dear, I touched the screen.
Is it gone?
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Have a key to the president's room so that you can fetch items left behind, or in some cases, meetings and events are held there and you can let people in. If the president is being monopolized, the aide steps in to intervene. Try to keep the room as close to the president as possible in the hotel to attend to needs such as helping with getting the president items and from meetings. Do you want me to continue or?
Sure, go right ahead.
Okay. Ask the president at the start of each day and at the end, what can I do for you? What can I do for you now to make your job easier? Sometimes it is little things we do that make the biggest difference. The aide often oversees the master contact list of CFWC Executive Committee and CFWC Executive Board members, as well as the special committee members. The aide sets the DS for the president prior to the meeting. Gavel, block if there is one, water or drink of choice, mints, pen, pencil, writing pad, and anything else the president may find necessary to conduct business. Remember, the president sits little during the meeting and only leaves the dais for a recess or adjournment. Make their space as comfortable as possible. The aide should always check the microphone themselves and know where the batteries for the microphone are in case of emergency. This happens before every session begins. Check in periodically all day when meetings are going on with the president. Make sure the president has what they need to conduct their day easily.
Perfect. How about we stop right there? So this is a lot of really good information. I bet there's a lot about president's aides. I don't know about you, but for me, that I didn't really know all of these things. But I love the sentence that says, what can I do to make your job easier? That should be all of us all the time. I kind of learned that from Valerie, you know, that we're supposed to help each other. So no matter who it is, Sonia, Debbie, Lynn, they're always helping, making our jobs easier. If you'd have seen me, I couldn't get in. This is my 1, 2, 3, 4th electronic device to get to this meeting today. And it took a village to get me in. Alan, Debbie, Sonia, my husband had to bring in another computer, but here we all are. So, you know, sometimes you just don't know. Debbie's saying, oh, I think we should do this or we should do that, but they got me here. So what can we do to help make each other's jobs easier? I really like that line. It doesn't have to just be for the president's aide or to the president, but for everyone, you know, that we could try to do that. Okay, any questions on page 7? We're just
so far. Thank you so much.
Okay, let's go then on page 8. We're going to start. Thank you very much, Karen, for reading too. You guys are all wonderful. And we'll start at a president's aide. Lou, are you here? Would you like to take the rest of page 8 for us, please?
I'm here.
Thank you.
Okay. A president's aide may be asked to perform other duties as well. Things come up, and as the right hand of the president, the aide is easily reached to facilitate all the many little items left unattended until realization sets in. A president's aide should never be afraid to delegate. Sometimes the list of to-dos may be long. Ask for help as needed, but always check that things have been done before you find out that they have not. In some cases, at the state level, districts and clubs, the president's aide may be asked to give a countdown to the meeting start or reconvene, announcing 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and asking for the assembly to be seated. As a president, when picking an aide, pick someone you trust implicitly. This is the friend that will keep you out of a jam during a marathon weekend of meetings. While you're in a whirlwind, make sure you choose an aide that has a level head and can think on their feet quickly. As the president, this is your helper, and you need to count on them to finish whatever you start and keep you going where you need to be.
Thank you very much, Lou. That is really, those few paragraphs are saying a lot to us. And we're going to have some time before we go on to the next 2, which is basically a little bit about protocol. I'd like a few of you, if there aren't questions on this, to maybe tell us an example, something that has happened to you, either in regards to amenities or your aide, before we go on to protocol. Is there something that happened when you were a club president or a dean or something with itinerary that you would want to just say, wow, you know, look how this happened. Anybody want to share? Ah, there's Sherry.
We have a question or a comment from Sherry Meyer. Sherry?
I do have a comment. When it comes to parking places, one is supposed to be saved for whether it's the district president or the state or whatever. And I had the experience when I was sent as a speaker that they told me, yes, there would be a parking place. And since I'm handicapped, it would be a handicapped spot right out front. Perfect. I arrive and all handicapped spots are filled. Because you see, their assumption was that everybody knew I was coming and I was handicapped, and therefore this spot was for me, and they didn't have to mark it or reserve it or do anything. And of course, there were other handicapped people coming, and they took the spot. And I was suddenly stranded out front with the only parking places, because, you know, when you're coming to speak and you're expecting a parking place, you don't come 20 minutes, 30 minutes ahead of time to get a spot. So there I was, had to find a place way, way, way back and make my way in with my canes and scooter and so forth. So just if you are saving a spot for someone, it might be wise to not assume that somebody else is going to take it, and maybe have somebody standing by just to be sure. That's all.
Thank you, Sherry. Our next question or comment comes from Wendy Curran.
Thank you, Sonia. And just briefly, in Sherry's instance, my home club has 2 signs that we place out at every meeting when we meet. One is reserved for the caterer and one is reserved for the speaker. And they go into the parking spot so that you're aware when you come in that you do have a parking spot. And one thing that I've always found that's very interesting, whether you're a club president or a district president, everybody knows the meeting will start at 9:30 or 11 o'clock. Yes, we all know that, but we're all talking. So one of the things as a president, you might want to, or if you're the amenities chair or the president's aide, you might want to 5 minutes before the meeting starts, get on the microphone and remind everyone, we have 5 minutes, please find your seats, or, you know, etc. I think that works easier than standing at the microphone and people are then saying they're still talking. You know, you may even have gavelled. So and once you come to the mic, pretty much everybody knows the meeting's ready to start. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy. The next question or comment comes from Catherine George too. Catherine?
Yeah, I was just going to say that I love flowers and I love plants, but the times that I've been given flowers or plants, you know, from a club, and I was not going home directly, and I had other meetings, or I was sitting in traffic on my way downtown. So it's just something to consider. Sometimes, or if someone's traveling, sometimes flowers or a plant is not the best first choice.
Thank you, Catherine. Our next question or comment comes from Lou. Lou?
I don't know if this is a comment or a question, but I've served as the aide to our club president, and one of the things that I did is when we had like city events, it was my job to make sure that she knew the individuals in the room. So I was like the whisper in her ear, reminding her of the mayor's spouse's name or anything that they had done for the club in the past. So she could, like the fire chief, providing them with, you know, special books for training, reminding, so that when she steps up, she could say something like, oh, and are you still using the books we gave you in 1998, or do we need to replace those books? So she sounded like she knew the full history. I don't know if that's part of this protocol as well, but I noted that that was something I was trained to do as her aide.
Very good. Thank you, Lou.
Good,
Our next question or comment comes from Patsy Wilson. Patsy?
Yes, Madam Chairman. I'd like to say one of the clubs within my area is very in touch with their city's administration. And whenever they have something, it appears in their local newspaper. And I'm fortunate enough to have them just automatically send me a copy of the news clipping. The Women's Club of South Pasadena have their various events covered by the news. And they have, like I say, I'm really happy that they send me their clippings for posterity. It also just happens that my daughter lives in the city of South Pasadena, and she sent me those clippings as well. So usually I get two. So there was this question about clippings. They are very helpful and very welcome to get. Thank you.
Thank you, Patsy. Our next question or comment comes from Debbie. Debbie? You're muted, love.
Thank you. I forgot I did that. I just want to tag on to things that have already been said and to say to Lou that from my perspective, I think a president's aide, as we have said in the package, serves at the pleasure of the president, which means you end up doing the kinds of things that the president asks you to do. My club, for instance, we would normally have about 60 people at our meetings, and it's a tight squeeze. And we have 4 remote mics. One of them is at the head table. One is at the podium for the speakers and our officers to go to make their reports. And then the president's aide, who sits right in front of the president, also has a microphone, so that if the vice president for membership gets up and is making a statement and somebody in the audience has a question, they raise their hand, they wait to be called on, and the president's aide goes to them with the remote mic so that they can be mic'd and they don't have to yell. It's just one of the things that we've asked our president's aides at my club to do. So there's lots of variety of what a president's aide can do depending on the circumstance in your own club, but she's invaluable. I did not have a president's aide when I was club president, which was my mistake. And if I had it to do again, I would have somebody that I could trust who could take care of those little things for me. That's all. Thank you. And Sonia has left. There she comes back.
I just needed to run and get a drink. Thank you so much for giving me that minute. So the next one is Linda. Linda, you have a question or comment, please?
Yes, thank you, Sonia. 2 things that I wanted to piggyback on. The corsages. One thing that our club found a few years ago is that there's a lot of beautiful silk corsages to get out there. And what's really nice with the silk corsages, of course, is that you can use them over and over again. And when I had a silk corsage when I was installed as 3rd VP at district, I had several compliments on the corsage, and a couple of people thought it was actually real. So that was one thing. The other thing also that I just wanted to say, somebody had mentioned this when calling the meeting to order. I think it's very, very important when the district president or president actually at any level will ask if everybody would please turn off their cell phone or put it on vibrate. It never fails that there's somebody there in the room and you have your president or an officer speaking and a phone goes off. You know, even if they jump up and they go in the other room, it still goes off. So I think that's really important. I made sure that I even had that on my script when I was a district president. That was the very first thing. Second thing I said after saying good morning is I asked everybody to please turn their cell phone off or put it on vibrate. That's just being respectful to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Our next comment or question is from Sherry Meyer. Sherry?
Yes, a comment again. I had the experience of being invited as an officer, invited to be the speaker at a meeting. Brilliantly done. The president had an excellent agenda. She handled it magnificently. And it came time for me to speak towards the end of the meeting, at which point the president announced that she would be closing the meeting after the reciting of the collect. And I'm sitting right next to her, and she has forgotten that I'm there to speak and has forgotten to introduce me as a speaker. At which point other members kind of pointed it out to her, but it was an interesting experience to just be forgotten. I don't know if anyone else has ever had that.
We hope not, but thank you for letting us know and reminding us how important that is, Sherry. Thank you very much. There are no more questions on the floor, Barbara. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Okay, now we're going to go to page number 9. And that one is on CFWC protocol, our 9 and 10. I actually like these the best. I'm very interested in what we're supposed to do and when we're supposed to do it. So I love, having to do these. So how about, one is going to be on the first page. It says the proper care of members and guests. Everyone other than that president, that state president you brought in, I like to think of us as all being equal. That we're all of the same important level, and we care for each other, and we want to take care of each other. So presiding officers, Tamra, our leads lady, are you here? Would you like to please read about the presiding officers for protocol, since you'll be in Atlanta, Georgia next month representing the state of California? We're very grateful you are here today.
I will. Under presiding officers, remain impersonal in attitude and remarks. Speak clearly and slowly so that all may understand. Never turn the meeting over to another. She calls on others to report or make a presentation. Ask the vice president to preside when a motion is made concerning the president personally if she wishes to speak during debate. Assist with proper phrasing of motion when members have difficulty with wording. Is kind but firm when making a ruling during the meeting. Consults quietly with the parliamentarian when advice is needed. Ask the parliamentarian to explain or interpret a point to the audience if necessary. Don't overlook those in your district who serve at other levels of federation or are past presidents. Just because they are friends, we tend to take them for granted. They should be extended every courtesy. Past presidents are introduced starting with the most recent, then in the others in order of date served.
Thank you, Tamara, very much. Any questions on any of that? Or any comments you want to make?
We do not have any questions on the floor.
Okay, thank you. Let's continue on with members. Melissa Tresoris, are you here? Sandy Richardson, Lakewood Women's Club, would you like to read about the members for CFWC protocol, please?
I would love to, but I do not have any of the 10 pages.
Oh, you don't have the paperwork. Okay, Kathy Hollins, are you available to read? Do you have it printed out?
I do.
Okay, thank you. Would you read about members, please?
I certainly will. Members, be on time for meetings, adhere to deadlines. If giving a report, watch the agenda and be near the microphone, not in the back of the room. At a meal, members should not start eating until the president has picked up her fork. Refrain from disturbing the meeting through whispering or restless behavior. Avoid walking between the presiding officer and the audience. Obtain the floor before addressing the assembly and address all remarks through the chair, not another member. Name badges should be worn on the right side. Club pins can be placed on either side, but are usually worn on the left.
Thank you very much, Kathy. Now, some of this is repetitious, but it's so important that Pam felt that we would redo it again, so that even though we were doing it in the beginning, we would end our meeting with the CFWC protocol, the things that we are supposed to do correctly. I think it is important, Winston Churchill always said that you should write what you're going to say out. He also always had 2 copies. He said that we should write every word out because sometimes we might have and the word was a brain, I'm going to say forgetfulness, but that is not what he said. He said something else might happen. So you would write down what you were going to say. I've learned from people like Valerie and Pam and Dory and Toby and Chris Herzog, you write in a 16 font. so that it's easily read if you are going to be from the lectern to you, that 18-inch span. You also, when you're reading, you number your pages, but you make a little fold mark in the corner so that when you go to pick that page up, it's easy to just turn it over. I only do mine on one side. When we go to a district now or to the state, an area meeting, we put every page in a plastic sleeve so that we can take a felt tip marker and write on it in case there are things you say, oh, could you do this for me? I put a big star by it, and then I know that that's something I'm going to get back to someone on. If I don't know the answer, there's a cookbook called The Joy of Cooking. And in the beginning of it, the introduction, it says, knowledge is of two kinds, the kind you know by heart and knowing where to find the answer. If you know the answer, give it to that person. But if you do not, please, please don't try to bluff your way through it because it'll come back to bite you for sure. Just say, that's off of my pay grade. I'm sorry, I don't know. I will try to find out. I will get back to you. But then get back to them whether you do or do not find the answer to whatever their question is. But I like having it in a plastic sleeve and then just having, you know, a marking pen to go like this to be able to do that. Okay, how about anything else? Any questions, comments? All right, thank you. You ladies are wonderful. That we've been at this almost an hour and a half now, and most of you are still all here and with us. So thank you very much. Okay, how about we move on to protocol? Sue, and I can't pronounce your last name, so I'd like you, if you'd like to, would you like to read on protocol? And then first, will you give me the correct pronunciation of your last name?
My last name is Hogenauer.
Hogenauer.
I don't think I only got pages up to 8.
Okay, so you don't have 9 and 10. All right, I'm sorry.
No,
Tony
and I also,
Lima. All right, thank you. We'll make sure you get 9 and 10. Tony, can you take 9, 8, page
Protocol?
10? Can you take protocol?
Certainly.
Thank you.
Protocol refers to the code of formal procedure and politeness important to the smooth running of an organization. It is simply good manners and in good atmosphere of friendliness and of politeness. Through customs varying from one group to another, giving the proper recognition and respect to the officers and guests is essential to the success and pleasure of activities. Correct observance of protocol is often handled by an amenities chairman, but should be practiced by every member. And that's it.
Go ahead, read amenities 2, please.
Amenities chairman?
Yes,
Sure.
thank you.
Okay. She works closely with the president, carrying out her wishes. She should arrive early to check the head table, lighting, microphone, flag, seating, etc. Be available throughout the meeting. Sit where the president can see her. Extend gracious welcome to guests, speakers, and anyone present for the first time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Tony. Okay. Any questions on that? Can we keep on going until we get to the end? All right. How about we do introductions? Judy Pentazzo, are you, do you have the paperwork?
I have, and I'm here.
Okay. Would you please read about introductions?
Okay. The presiding officer presents those seated at the head table. It is customary to begin with the extreme left of the presiding officer and introduce each person in order, ending with the person at the left of the presiding officer. Then beginning with the person at the extreme right, each person is introduced, ending with the guest of honor, seated at the immediate right of the president. When a state or international president is introduced for the first time, the audience should stand for applause in recognition of the office. Speakers. An introduction of a speaker should be brief. Its purpose is to establish the integrity of the speaker on the subject. If a speaker is late, wait only 10 minutes before going on with the next order of business. In the last thing, it said, wait 15 minutes before a meal, but here is only 10 minutes before going on with the next order of business. If a speaker is exceeding her allotted time, slip her note indicating she has 1 or 2 minutes more.
That's
Go
very
on.
good.
Okay.
That's good. Thank you. Thank you so much. I don't know how, quietly we can slip someone a note, but okay by me. If we think we could, scoot that in there where it would not embarrass her or something, that's okay. But I think it's important that they know what their time allotment was. How much time were you going to give that speaker? Usually on the itinerary page, as soon as I receive it, I then will ask, right away, what is the topic you would like me to use? What kind of an installation is it? What is the theme of your district convention? What do you really want us to speak about, when we go? So like in April of 2022, I'm already booked 3 of the weekends of that month to, be doing installations and district conventions. So it's kind of fun when you get to go and see all, the fellow members, and we're hoping that we're all going to be able to socially distance and see each other person to person at that time. Let's do invitations too. Chris Smith, Pio Pico Women's Club, have you got page 10? Would you like to read invitations?
Sorry, no, I don't.
Okay, you don't have the paperwork. Shelley Cooper, do you have page 10? Do you have the paperwork? Shelley, I saw you here. I kind of scanned these couple of pages. Are you here? I mean, are you available?
I am. I'm not available. I didn't get it done.
You don't have this page?
Company come yesterday and I didn't get everything done.
And you didn't get them printed. That's okay. No worries. Lynn Robinson, would you like to read on invitations, please? Do you have page 10?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Write or call your guest or speaker when you have selected your program. If phoning, follow up with written confirmation. Let them know the allotted time and the time they are scheduled to speak. Give them the time the meeting starts and probable time of adjournment, as well as type of meeting and dress. Give them some idea of what you would like discussed and ask if they plan a question and answer period so you can allow for it on the agenda. If the trip requires an overnight stay, suggest types of accommodations available, including home hospitality. Make reservations if they request you to do so. If the speaker is driving, provide her with directions and a parking space. If she is driving a long distance, suggest she bring a traveling companion. In addition to the speaker's lunch, please comp the companion's meal. If she is flying, she should be informed of the nearest airport and should be met and escorted to where she will be staying.
Thank you very much. Okay, that's the 10 pages, but now let's hear what you have to say or what you want to talk about. I'll tell you one. I was picked up in Sacramento. I was taken to a very old clubhouse. I was asked to give a speech. I did that. Then I was dropped off at the Sacramento airport and my flight wasn't for 5 hours. That was a long time to sit at the airport, right? Luckily, I always have a book. Make sure you travel with a book, but it was a long time. Now, it wasn't, of course, that district's fault that the flight wasn't going to leave for 5 hours, but they might have checked in with me to say, oh, and when are you leaving? I could have been dropped at the mall and taken an Uber over to the airport, that kind of a thing. Let's hear what your stories are or any of your comments, things for protocol that have happened to you or amenities or as an aide, something you need the agendas and the printer doesn't work and where are you going to go? A medical emergency that might happen and what are you going to do? I want to tell you one other story. One is Doris Ruffner was being installed in San Francisco, in Sacramento area as a state president. And she was speaking. She had just taken over the gavel and she was talking. And someone collapsed at the table in front of us. as in fell off the chair onto the ground. She did not miss a beat, reached under the lectern, punched in the 911, and within probably 4 or 5 minutes, the fire department was there. The paramedics were there to come get this lady. And, you know, everything stopped until they had the woman on oxygen. She had just fainted. It was too warm. Usually it's too cold in those rooms. And they had taken her out. And this Doris Ruffner didn't miss anything. She just went right back into exactly where she had left off, you know, on her little script of accepting to be the CFWC president. It was amazing. I will never forget that this person had it so together. They didn't lose it. I mean, she really did a wonderful job. She had a scripted agenda. Valerie always makes those. They're wonderful to use because then someone else, you know, your parliamentarian or somebody has that information. What happens if somebody from a district president can't be there? And let's just say now the district dean is in charge, but there wasn't anything. There's nothing for them to follow, no agenda, no what was going to happen. Tell us some of your stories. You now have a few minutes to give us something interesting that's happened to you, whether it's a comment that you want to make about amenities or protocol, or maybe the president's aide, if you have an aide.
So our first question or comment comes from Tony Lima. Tony.
Thank you. Yeah, I was just going to say how important it is, even nowadays, to make sure that your guests have a map. One time we invited our Dory up to one of our Shasta district meetings, and she is using her GPS, and she gets to this little town out in the middle of no place, because that's where we are. And she's going, I can't find you. And I'm going, well, just stay on Highway 99, you know. And she's going, but there's nothing there. I'm going, no, it's about 10 miles up. She's going, there's nothing there. And GPS didn't have it. And it was this little old historic church, literally in the middle of a walnut orchard. And poor Dory is there in Las Colinas going, what do I do? I'm going, head north, you'll see us. But had she had at least directions being verbal or whatever, because everything is not on GPS, I'm sorry. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Great reminder. We really appreciate that. The next question or comment comes from Catherine George Chu. Catherine?
Yes, a few years ago, and Barbara, I'm not sure, maybe you know about this, but we had invited Dory to come out to our district convention. I think it was being held in Downey, and I was given the task to go and pick her up, and I think she had come early to the convention, so she had stayed somewhere, I think in Buena Park is where I went out to get her. And it was sort of like, okay, she's going to come to Downey and check in. So it was prior to the convention. So I went out to get her, and I only had my truck with me. I didn't have my little car. I had my truck, which is fine. And I get to Buena Park, and I see Dory sitting in front of the hotel on the curb, waiting. And I said, what is going on? She's waiting at the curb. And when I picked her up, she had told me that I guess when she came the night before, she had fell in the bushes or something, because she had like a Band-Aid on her leg. And then I was concerned because I had my truck, and I've done this before where I had to pick up one of the ladies from our club who was maybe like 5 feet. And I had to think, do I bring my little car or do I bring the truck? Because if I bring the truck, I'm going to have to hoist them up into the door. Luckily, Dory is very tall, and it fit her perfectly. Not, you know, I have to climb up into it. And I got her over to the hotel where we were having the convention, and she still had a couple hours before check-in. She could leave her baggage And then we just walked next door and had something to eat and to sit and have a really nice conversation until she was able to come back like an hour or something later and then check in. So I didn't just dump her at the hotel and take off. I waited, we had a really nice meal, and then when it was time to check in, she was there to check in. So, you know, you just kind of have to think. Yeah.
Thank you. She told me all about that. You actually took her to Mimi's, which was next door to the Embassy Suites in Downey. And I remember that well now. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. Our next question or comment comes from Wendy. Wendy?
Thank you, Sonia. Just in general, having served as a district president and putting together the call that goes out to all of your district clubs, remember to put in directions for how to get to wherever the conference is going to be held. And even though it is at a particular clubhouse, not every club in your district may be familiar with that. And in San Bernardino district, we're quite large. So we have people that come from many directions, no matter what conferences it is. So think about when you're putting those written, and make them written directions. You know, obviously they've got the address and can look it up, but it's always nice to have something if you're coming from the west, if you're coming from the east or the north, and give those specific directions. I personally find it very easy to get to the clubhouse that I need to get to. So just a thought. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Our next question or comment comes from Debbie. Debbie?
Yes, I wanted to comment on something that Barbara said a while ago about letting your guest speakers know what the appropriate dress is. I don't remember, I'd have to go find an old itinerary form, and I don't remember if it said it on that, but I do want to point out that the itinerary form that we use now, that is available at cfwc.org under forms, that new itinerary form does have a place to put the style of dress. So be sure to fill out all the stuff on there, and especially the dress. Don't leave that one off, but it is there now.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh, I think that's our last question. Back to you, Barbara.
Thank you. Lind, I see we have 4 things in chat. Do you have anything that are questions that we need to be addressing?
No, we had only one question and I was able to answer it, and that's it.
Well, thank you so very much. A couple of things that I'm going to mention that have just come up. The Norwalk Women's Club, we need wheelchair accessibility. And it's something now where we're trying to plan, you know, from September until June. So it was something brought up because their last general meeting was held at my home. Obviously, I didn't have wheelchair accessibility, and we had a member who's been a member for more than 20 years that would have loved to come. And her daughter brought her, and they used a driveway down the street and just came and stayed on my sidewalk in front of my house, you know, right up to my front door. Well, I took an umbrella out there and said, oh, would you like this? Could we bring you some water? No, really, she only wanted chocolate. So she just wanted chocolate peanut butter cups. So we took those out to her, and then we broke the meeting right then. We took our recess so that everybody would be able to go and talk to her, because she was moving into an independent living, you know, in Irvine. So she was going away from us. So that's something too, to maybe make sure that you have that wheelchair accessibility. The area meetings, the same thing, you know, try to make sure that all the things when you're looking that we've covered all the bases for what we have to have. I remember going one time, maybe membership or area, I think it was membership, and I went to the Turtle Camp, and it was for Debbie Petrosco's, you know, event. And Barbie Heine was driving me, and we had Pat Martin, and we're in the car. I have a GPS. We drove by the entrance, we drove back past the entrance, and then we drove by the entrance again, and I was like lost. And, you know, I was supposed to be speaking pretty quick. So I was getting very nervous, like, where is this place? And when we called Debbie, she said, no, just turn there. Even though it makes like it's not there. This was Paul Newman's, you know, turtle camp. It was there. It was one of the most impressive places I've ever been. So besides the friendships we have and the wonderful things you all do for your club and your district and your community, the things that you do and the memories you make from going somewhere, I will never forget going to this turtle camp. The things, you know, they were, I won't call them pods, but whatever the turtles are, there's these clubhouses there. And they have a swimming pool that looks like a whale. And then when you go into the gym, the LA Lakers built their gym. It's dug out underneath, and there is a like a space so that when they jump, they don't ruin their knees. At LA Staples, they have the same thing at that turtle camp. We got to see so many things and learn on the tour. If you ever get a chance, I'm going to throw in a plug for Debbie's Turtle Camp. Try to go see it. It's really an amazing place. And the other places that we can go to visit, you know, when we come to see you. I've been to the Santa Clarita, also to their clubhouse. It's like 101 years old. It's amazing. You know, somebody picks you up, somebody drops you off. Just, are there other things that any of you would like to, you know, share a story about or tell us? You do so much already. Do you have anything, Sonia or Debbie or Lynn?
I actually appreciate all the knowledge I'm learning because I don't have a lot of experience in this area. So thank you very much for teaching me.
Sure.
We do have 2 questions on the floor. Linda, Linda, you had a question or a comment?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Sonia. In answer to what you had just asked, Barbara, I wanted to share the other thing, and it ceases to amaze me. I've been there like 3 times. The USO in Ontario to set up a tour. It is absolutely incredible. I know that they have a few USOs. They have a big one in Los Angeles. They have another one, I believe, in San Francisco. And out in the desert someplace, I forgot where, but it is absolutely incredible. And when we had, especially when we took a few members that didn't even realize that they do tours there, and everything that they learned while they were there, it was just, you know, I mean, I would go there over and over and over again because it's really, really something to see. And I know a lot of our clubs and districts really support the USO. So I wanted to share that.
Thank you very much, Linda. Our next question or comment comes from Debbie. Debbie.
Hi, I just relative to the Painted Turtle Camp, it is an amazing place. The entire place is handicapped accessible. The bathrooms, the swimming pool, everything. My district normally meets there at our September meeting, but for a variety of reasons, we can't meet there this year. But I will promise to let people know the next time we're having a meeting. I know there's somebody on this call that is familiar with them, so Yvonne, don't yell at me later. The next time we have a meeting, if we have one up at the Painted Turtle Camp, I will let people know. And anybody who can drive there, it's up by Lake Elizabeth, Lake Hughes. You're welcome to join us and get a tour, because after our meeting, they always take us on a tour of the facility. And I will let you know the next time we do that in case anyone wants to come up and take a look at it.
Thank you, Debbie. Our next question or comment comes from Lynn. Lynn, did you have a question or comment?
Well, it's a cry for help. As you may know, if you read Quick Bites, I hope you read the wanted poster. We have misplaced our flags for our color guard ceremony at the opening of all our state meetings. We have looked high, we have looked low, we have looked everywhere. We cannot find them. If anyone has any ideas for where that we could check. They're in a duffel bag. There's 4 flags, there's 4 poles, and there are sashes that go across the front of the color guards. We would really like to find these. If you haven't seen our wanted poster, take a look at it. It's kind of tongue in cheek, but you get the idea. So please, somebody find them.
Thank you so much for helping us and asking us. I'm going to mute you super fast. There we go. We got that. Okay, Valerie, you had a question or a comment?
Yeah, I'd like to ask, when was the last time we saw them?
When?
The flags?
Yes.
Yes, at the February 2020 Winter State Board meeting at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Sacramento.
Okay, so that gives us at least a location. So that's wonderful. Okay, everybody, start thinking about if you were there, if you stumbled over it or saw it, we'd be very appreciative for your help. I'm going to send this back to Barbara.
Thank you. If we don't have anything else and you're done sharing your stories, I guess it will be like in classroom, and we'll get out a few minutes early today. But thank you very, very much for coming. Amenities, protocol, your president's aide, they're all important. They're very important for us. And actually, I'm going to give it back to Lynn for a minute because I bet she wants to tell us about other things that are coming up.
Yes, thank you. Our next Zoom meeting will be on Sunday, July 18th, communicating with your members. The various ways we can, what we need to include, how to reach them. And in August, we are having an added workshop, which is going to expand on everything we've learned about communication. It's going to be fantastic. I will be sending out the August links again because we've added this one wonderful workshop called Communication Boot Camp. So that will be coming, but we hope to see everybody on the 18th. I haven't received any handouts yet, but as soon as I do, I will get them out to you.
Thank you very much, Lynn. And then also, we're having an open house on Friday evening from 5 until 7. So we hope that you're going to be able to join us for that too. Please come with your chocolate and champagne, Valerie, or your glass of red wine, or your soda pop, or sweet iced tea, or a cup of coffee, whatever you'd like, because this is your time to shine. And basically, we just listen to your stories. I'm sure that Sandra Richardson will have something to start us laughing. If there isn't anything else, oh, okay. Barbie Heine's got a message that says, when? I think Lynn said that it's going to be August 18th.
It's actually sure. August
7th.
August 7th? Okay, so, Barbie. Barbie Heine, it's August 7th.
Right. And the idea is kind of like you come on Sunday, you get it from each of us. We do like a really quick 10 minutes and teach you each of our areas. And then if you want to learn more, boot camp is where it's at. So you can dive in on how we do what we do so that you can build those very important teams to help you guys know how to do communications. So Sunday's kind of an overview. Monday is about hybrids. And then that boot camp is about digging in. Does that help at all?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
Okay, anything else? Thank you all for being here. We're all going to start looking for flags, poles, and sashes for Lynn. If there isn't anything else, thank you very much for coming today. We really appreciate you all being here, and we'll see you Friday night, or we'll see you at our next on Sunday CFWC Communication Zoom. Thank you to Debbie and Lynn and Sonia and her team and Valerie for always being here to keep us on the right track. It's nice to see your smiling faces, and can't wait to see you in September face to face. Bye now.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Barbara, can you stay for just a second?
Yep, I'll be on.
Sonia, I have a question.
Yes, please.
It sounds like half the people didn't get the literature that comes out before. Are we supposed to be looking at a different place for that literature?
Right. So it comes from Lynn, and it comes from, if you go into your email search bar, if you'd like me to show you how I do that, I can show you. You go into your email search.
I used to always get them from her, and now I'm not getting them.
Well, so it's sent to a very large group. So it depends on your email company. It may have slipped it into junk mail. So if you go into your search bar and put in reservations, it will pop up all of the different ones that have come to you.
Okay.
Would you like me to show you how?
Yes.
Okay. I'll do it super fast, Barbara. Thank you for your patience.
I'm totally fine.
Okay, I appreciate that so
It
much.
sounds like other people are having the same problem with me because a lot of them didn't have it printed
I
out.
think they're staying.
Okay, and you can't get them out of chat. Is that correct, everyone?
No, I couldn't.
Okay, so I apologize. You're going to kind of see my background of my emails, but it's nothing that will surprise you. So if you see where I'm in, this is my Gmail for the state. I have the state Gmail over here, and then I go to the search bar at the top and I put reservations. And see how it comes up right here, the list of all the CFWC Reserve California comes all the way down here. All the different ones that have come this summer.
Okay, so just go to Gmail and type in reservations.
Yeah, see up here in the top, you can just put CFWC, and then I think the next
Well,
word
I
is-
have Yahoo Mail. Would it be the same thing?
Absolutely. There is no difference in the search. And the cool thing about search is it will go through all of your emails. It won't just isolate one section of emails. So I do Yahoo and Gmail. Yahoo is that really funny file that when you buy something online, everything goes in that one. And it will search all of my files for that particular word.
And then also on Sunday, I go into GFWC Communications with an S if I want to talk to you on Sunday.
Yes, absolutely. But you have to keep in mind that it's kind of right when the meeting is. So maybe this Sunday I'll have to make it earlier. So just jump on Saturday afternoon. I put up the time and the codes. So it'll probably be from like 10 to 12 on Saturday. So because
I haven't been getting that either.
No, I don't send it to you. You have to go to Facebook and get it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Does anyone else have questions?
I have a comment for Debbie. I'm not going to yell at you for anything. I enjoy being a turtle.
I can't wait till we can get back. I love going up there.
I do too.
Fantastic.
And as so I think it was somebody was talking about, and you really can't use the GPS directions to get there because it has you get off the 5 at Lake Hughes Road and drive through the mountains. So I tell people to go out the 14 and get off at Palmdale. It's longer, but it's less confusing. You don't have to mountain driving to worry about.
Or be lost.
Okay, so anyone else have a question at all? I'm just going to place all of you in the waiting room if that's okay. Are you all right with that? Kathy, is it okay if I put you in the waiting room?